Hello collective, this is Danielle. Right, I have pre-shuffled the cards and I'm going to try not to shuffle the cards throughout the reading because looking back on some of my readings, it's quite noisy. And I might, I might not I might, but the noise, look, people have different sensory issues, so until I've got a different one, because this is the one that clips on, so it just picks up everything. So yeah, I'm going to try and not to shuffle the cards. I've already pre-shuffled, okay? Oh, holding my deck upside down, guys, sorry. So yeah, literally this literally came out in the last quick read I did. I just did like a real quick read on my other phone, and I felt rushed. There's not a lot of storage on it. It gave me up to 7 minutes, so that's a rush. Didn't like that. I prefer the longer ones. So anyway, this card came out in the last reading, so you are someone's obsession. Someone's obsessed with you, okay? They're looking you up on social media. They're proper, like, doing some investigation on you. This could be a past connection or it could be a third party that, from a past connection. It could be a third party from someone you're involved with, but, let's get into it and find out. Okay, yeah, this is a past connection and the person's still obsessed, okay? So there's a no contact zone here, so there's forced distance, which I feel you might have put that force in, you might have forced that distance. There's the silence game, but to you it's not a game, but this person might have said, oh, you use this silent treatment as a game, you're toxic, that type of thing going on here. Sorry guys, just need to move my leg. But this other person is still attached, okay? This is giving past love connection, okay? So this person could have contacted you, you've read the messages, and you're just not interested, okay? You've ignored them, you've seen it, but you're just not responding. You're not interested in responding. This person never showed up for you. They was always off doing their own thing. Yeah, you've chosen yourself, you're choosing self-love, you've matured emotionally, and you just wanted that clean break. You've probably started journaling and probably started to take more care of yourself. And this person might not like it. You're healed. You're not hooked on this situation. You're healed. It might still remain in your consciousness, because you can't delete things from your mind, but it's not affecting you. It doesn't bother you. Okay, you've actually really moved on from this situation. Guys, I'm so tempted to shuffle these cards. Yeah, you're done. You're 100% done with the situation. You've walked away. You've walked away so much the tea's gone cold. You're not even interested in the tea. There's no more drama. You're over it, and you feel like the past. It's kind of expired. You feel like it's. You probably never got closure on the situation, but you got your own closure, so you was able to move on in that respect, in that way. Doing your own healing, your own recovery. You've probably sought healing out from other sources, external sources from yourself. Like, you could have had some shamanic healing, you could have done other things, you could have had some readings that healed you, helped you heal. But there was a time where this truth hurt you. This realization that this connection was probably never really. It was never like a real connection. I feel like this person was in contact with you because they benefited from your blessings. So like certain people have blessings just because the way they operate, the way they live their life, the way they think, the way they feel, the way they help others. And some people can cash in on those blessings, and that's why this person was around. That truth, when you realise this, you gave yourself a bit of a reality check surrounding this person and this person's intentions. And when you stumbled upon the truth, which you knew anyway, you just kind of like ran away from it and avoided facing that truth. But when the reality hit, it did hurt for a long time, but you gave yourself the wake up call, and you could see clearer. You started looking at the situation clearly and started working on closing it out. You did sit in what if. That's probably what held you there. The what if. What if I regret this? You was overanalyzing the situation. You imagined a future with this person, but it was never sustainable. This person was never going to change. It was constant bickering, constant essays of messages back and forth on the phone. This person, I feel like this person could never gift you anything, even if it was a compliment. Yeah, this person sent you through a lot of emotions. It did start good, look. We got this happy face. At one time, this person did make you happy, but then it put you in a state of confusion. Then it made you just numb and blank. And then when you realised what was going on, you had the mini meltdown, like of what the F, Yeah, this person misses you. They're chained up. They're chained. They're tied into toxic ties, like toxic connections, toxic addictions. They've got toxic karma. They're like emotionally chained up. They don't have emotional intelligence. They're probably sitting in the dark late at night, overrunning everything that happened, overplaying everything that happened, and having that self-realization that they treated you quite poorly, and they are in regret, but it's a little bit too late. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't love, it was control. This person had a lot of control over you. It was like a power play game. Excuse me. There was a lot of ego involved, and this person wore a mask. See, they had you under control with this chain look. And you actually, at some point, broke this chain. You broke this chain of control. But then this person played on rooted trauma. You had some unhealed rooted trauma, and that person attached to that and started using that as a way to control you, saying things like, oh, look at you, you're a mess, you're mentally ill, there's something wrong with you, you're not right. So this person played on your pain as a way to control you. Right. Yeah, so this person never really loved you. The truth was revealed. I feel like they revealed it by accident. The illusion was shattered and you experienced a lot of heartbreak with this type of revelation. This person was always seen in public as a very good person. If it's a man or a woman, place it where it needs to be. But this person was saw as so that people saw the mask that this person wore rather than seeing the true colours of the person. Okay? And you probably played along with this mask at first, and then you started to get fed up and you started leaking out bits of information about this person, but people were just looking at you like you was crazy. They didn't believe it. But I feel like now people are starting to see the mask slipping. Okay? This is someone who publicly smiles all the time, constantly looks happy, but they're not. They're not, because happy people don't cause this type of pain in others. Happy people don't use people. Happy people don't form connections based on foundational lies. So yeah, this person has had some kind of awakening. Okay, they have had some type of awakening, and they've realised that what they did was very wrong and very, very inhumane, very uncalled for. And they're kind of watching. There's a lot of stalking. in this reading a lot of stalking. There's phones everywhere. There's a phone here, a phone here, and there's a phone here. There's a phone here. There's a phone there. So this person is using their phone to stalk you on social media. I think that's a phone there as well. Oh, I've messed all my cards up. Right. So yeah, this person's stalking you heavily on social media, but they have had an awakening. Not an awakening enough to not stalk, okay? So they're lurking, they're watching, and they're secretly obsessed. Like, secretly obsessed. They might get caught stalking your social media. So yeah, it came out that it wasn't love. It was never love. It was a crashed fantasy. Yeah. I said before this got pulled out that this person might get caught stalking your social media, and then we've got truth exposed. Truth is being exposed, okay? You could have been on a very long path of self-healing. It might have took you years to heal. You might have come out of a lot of darkness. This person sensed vulnerability in you. So this person sought you out, not based on wanting to be with you, but based on, look, basically the person was a predator, and they knew they could manipulate you, not because you're stupid or anything like that, absolutely not. They saw like a little gateway, like a little portal, where they could come in easily, undetected, due to your pain, and take advantage. And that's not shame on you, that's shame on them, which they're now realising because of they've had a little awakening. Yeah, you gave this person everything. You was overgiven to this person, and they just absolutely drained you. The love was unreciprocated, unreturned. You might have had a lot of like memorabilia in your home about this relationship, and you potentially cleared it out, or you have the intention to clear it out, just to remove that stagnating energy of this connection out, so that new can come in. Okay, the bigger picture's coming now. Right, so even though you walked away from this person, you chose to walk away for your own sanity and your own pride and whatever else. This person was actually in another connection with someone else before you walked away from them, and they chose that person over you, over doing the right thing. So they had no intentions of having the third party and leaving you. Their intention was to have the third party and keep you as a side benefit. Yeah, this person replaced you. I feel like some evidence is going to pop up about this. Yeah, some evidence is definitely going to pop up about this. Can you see this? Look. So she has a picture on the table of her and this person, or him and this person, placed in the genders where they need to be. And then she's looking on the phone, and she can see a picture of someone else together. And then she goes out in public look and spots them. This is potentially going to get revealed. Okay, so this person's going to send you a message, but it's not going to come through because you've got this person blocked. You're just not interested anymore. You're giving this person silent treatment. You've completely shut them out, completely blocked them. But they are going to attempt to send a message of some sort. Yeah. They've had this awakening and they're getting nostalgic. They're having fantasies and wishful thinking about reconnecting. They're dreaming of you. You felt very unseen, unchosen, and rejected. You never felt like you was enough for this person. You spent your time doing everything and giving everything to this person. This person spent their time running the opposite direction, seeking every avenue and path possible to find a replacement. but they was always trying to find replacements whilst clinging onto you. Yeah, they're definitely gonna. You know what? You've probably had this person blocked for a long time, and they've been sending messages for a long time. The messages are going through, but they're not reaching you. Does that make sense? So when someone blocks you, specifically on WhatsApp, say, yeah, and you send a message and it goes through, but that person on the other end just doesn't receive it. That's because you blocked them. So, and it could have been a situation, could be a situation, sorry, where they don't realise that you've blocked them, but they just keep sending messages. They think that you're just ignoring them, but they're actually blocked. I just realised I broke my nail. So yeah, look, can you see all these messages that keep coming through, but it's saying delivered and there's no reply. So this person feels like they're in a bit of they're talking to a void, they're talking to themselves. Okay. Yeah, this person broke your trust, lies, cheating, and promises that they just never fulfilled. They was constantly just gassing you up with unfulfilled promises. They'd say one thing and then just not do it, you know. They've probably cancelled dates on you. You've probably done things for them, like cooked them a nice meal, look, and they've just not shown up. Just not shown up at all. This person's having problems moving on. Okay, so they can't move on, they're stuck in a loop, they're missing you, and now they feel like they need closure, which is quite funny. That is funny. They're going to watch you move on with someone else, if you haven't already. They're now in the energy of, oh, you're my drug, I need you, type of thing. Right, we're going to get some different ones, okay? Okay, yeah, so this is calling for you to hold your inner child. Love, safety, reparenting. So you might have gone through a lot, okay, as a child, and that's why this person was able to come in and you know, like from your upbringing, I'm getting that you didn't know what love was. You didn't know what it looked like. So the minute you got some attention from someone, you thought that was love, okay? You might feel an ache in your chest or your heart space. This is calling for you to do inner child healing. So just in a meditative state, go into your mind, your third eye, right? Bring your awareness to your third eye, which is just between your eyebrows, right? And visualize a child of yourself, a child version of yourself, right? Once you've got that image, visualize you walk into that child, bend down to that child and tell that child that you are safe, you are okay, you are loved. And as the image says, if you want to, you can pick the child up and give them the hug and the love that you never had yourself. You've probably been taught a lot of things in life that was never true. Probably had a lot of projections put onto you. Probably got blamed for a lot of things. I'm hearing scapegoat. You as the scapegoat, so you've got the blame for everything. Yeah, pain is a teacher. So you have started to turn your pain into a teacher. So you're starting to recognise that your pain has taught you a lot. So you turn the pain into wisdom. Okay, so this is giving like alchemist. You could identify as being an alchemist. You're going to turn your pain into purpose or pain into power. This is this inner child healing will bring in this alchemy further, and it will help you grow even more. It's going to illuminate a lot of things to you. Okay, recognition, expression, and growth. Yeah, reclaim the lost self. So you might have had a bit of an identity crisis, but it's going to be an identity crisis where, again, from childhood and things you've experienced in life, these kind of created the version in your head of yourself as what you believe, but that you've had to start working on weaning those beliefs out because it's just not you, okay? So the identity crisis through this self-work is going to, yeah, you're going to have a soul retrieval, so that's bringing you back to who you are supposed to be on a soul level, true to yourself, not true to what other people project onto you or what other people think, you know? Okay, so you might have a bit of a fear of success, okay? You might be scared of being seen. You might be feeling the pressure to get out there into the public and do certain things, but you're scared of being seen. You're scared of expanding, okay? You're scared of expanding publicly because of judgment or whatever, or bullies, negativity. Don't do that. Yeah, you're definitely scared of the public. There's a lot of faces in the background, look. But you're going to have this magical glow up anyway, a glow up in career, a glow up in being seen, okay? Your light's going to get stronger. Yeah, so some of this fear of being seen, fear of expansion, the need for inner child healing, scared of recognition, expression, and identity crisis. This was all self-sabotage, but you're kind of moving out of it now, okay? It was self-destruction, doubt, but it was because you was in a survival situation, you was in a state of survival, okay? And it became a habit. But this is clearing out. Yeah, this is clearing out because you've discovered boundaries, self-respect, energetic protection, and self-honoring. So as you're doing this work on yourself and elevating and growing, the other person who's obsessed is escaping stillness. Okay, they're seeking distractions, they're in inner turmoil, and they're avoiding doing any type of work. See where he's running into smoke? He's gaslighting himself, he's deluding himself, or herself, whoever it is. Yeah, we've got be gentle with yourself, self-compassion, permission, and softness. So, again, give yourself permission to feel, give yourself permission to take time. Nothing has to be rushed. There's no time stamp on healing. Sometimes it can take a couple of months. Sometimes it can take years. It's very personal and intimate to each individual person. Okay, there's no standard time. Be self-compassionate about your situation as well. Don't beat yourself up over things you've allowed and things that you've had put onto you in the past, because again, when we talk about being an alchemist and alchemizing, if you hadn't have gone through these things, would your life path not be different? So yeah, have compassion with yourself for doing things, saying things, and enacting things that was out of survival. You had to learn that love is not control. We said that from the start. You learnt from a child that love was about control. It was about attachment, fear of loss, misunderstanding. See, you've been grabbed all your life and told what things are. You could have said like, love is not painful, or love is not control, and this person's laughed or giggled or whatever and told you that you're crazy. So, this one is letting you know that you need to speak what's true. Speak your truth. Okay? Don't be scared. When we speak the truth, we vibrate higher. Our vibrational frequency emits larger, you know? So this is calling for you to be authentic. Use your voice. And by doing that, you're going to unblock your throat chakra. Okay? See the light rising up her chest into her throat and then it comes out the mouth. You're going to, by doing this, speaking your truth, you will unblock your throat chakra. Okay, so in the past you could have felt like a victim, which rightly so, given the fact that you've gone through all that. People was constantly trying to bring you down off your little pedestal that you'd put yourself on, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have done a lot of work on freeing yourself, okay? You've had to free yourself from this victim mentality, this victim shaming as well, because I don't feel that you was like running around screaming, oh, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. I think it was more when you were sat in stillness, sat on your own in quiet time, and your thoughts were just replaying what you'd gone through, and you felt a little bit sad about like, you know, like, why did I have to go through all this, you know? I think that's where this card coming into play. Helplessness, external blame, yeah, learned powerlessness, yeah. So, with this one, I don't feel that you was pointing the finger blaming people, because if people do things to you to cause you pain or trauma, that's not external blame, okay? External blame is when you blame everything else or everyone else for the way you feel when you created that situation. Do you understand what I mean? So, in this reading, this particular reading for this particular collective, I feel like you learned powerlessness, and it was external people who was blaming you for the things that they did to you. That's where I think this is coming, and you felt helpless, you know, you felt helpless, because here we've got everybody else's shadows coming through doorways, everybody else's darkness, okay, and it was illuminating the entire world, but you're coming away, you're not playing victim. Okay, so we've got someone that's a bit envious, comparing and holding some type of resentment. I feel like this is a worn out female. This could be a grandparent, a parent, an auntie, you know, any type of connection that knows your story. This person knows your story. And they don't have compassion. They're comparing. Right, so we have fog. Fog symbolises a state where the inner voice becomes uncertain and the direction is unclear. It's a space between knowing and not knowing, between stillness and movement, where the answer hasn't yet appeared. It's important not to rush clarity, but to allow myself to just be. Sometimes in fog, understanding is born. Where am I now? In fog, in vagueness, or uncertainty? What is it like to just be in this state without looking for answers right now? What do I feel when nothing is happening? We have I hear myself when, the hidden me. We all have parts we haven't revealed yet, talents, desires, shadows, waiting for their time. This card is about accepting myself as not yet complete, about the space that opens up gradually. What part of me do I keep away from the world? What in me is waiting to be seen? You could be a singer. You could embody like a goddess type of energy. We've got the hidden me. So the hidden me, the hidden you holds the key. The hidden me holds the key. Okay. So we've got I hear myself when moments when I truly hear myself, when my voice feels real, and when I long to be heard. In what moment do I hear myself most clearly? What helps me speak from the heart? What do I feel the need to be the centre of attention? Now, when do I feel the need to be the centre of attention? And we have who I want to be. Okay. Again, this is giving very elegant energy, elegant goddess, finding a way. So, can I start with a card about beginnings? Even if the path is long, you can start small. Sometimes one step changes everything. What can I start with right now? What is my first, even tiny step? What's already in my hands? So this is all talking about your identity, and we did get identity crisis in the shadow work cards. Okay, so guys, there is a call to do some inner work. Okay, but this inner work is going to push you further onto your path. Okay, but as you go further down that path from doing this extra work, you find the key to the hidden me or the hidden you. Okay, the path is going to be long but beautiful. Okay, and on this path you will find yourself, your true self, not the self that people have told you. Okay, you're going to find your true self, establish your true self. You're going to, again, like the other card said, experience a soul retrieval, and part of this is speaking your truth, your authentic truth, not to hold back because of fear of what others might think, feel, or even say, or even project. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the reading. Comment if it resonates. Take what resonates and leave the rest. And have a fantastic, beautiful day, guys. I love you lots. Take care. Bye bye.